Okay, hello everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on sustainability. My name is Gianna Avgousti, and I have the privilege of being your chair for this session. Let me introduce you our two presenters. So basically, our today's program is featuring two presentations and discussions on the 6G-MUSICAL SNSJU project and sustainability. We will have a look at the project overview by Professor Atilio Gameiro from Institute of Telecommunications in Aveiro, which is the coordinator of the project, and the sustainability perspectives in 6G, as well as the sustainability in joint communication and sensing by Marja Matinmikko-Blue, which is the sustainability manager of the project from the University of OULU. So let me just say that the session is being recorded, and we will share the minutes and the transcript after the event. So let's start first of all with Atilio. Atilio, would you like to start with your presentation?
Yes, I will. Can you see my slides?
Yes, Atilio, we can see your slides, but can you put it on full screen?
Yes.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, welcome to. I would like to welcome everyone that is attending this event, and I would like to thank my colleagues Gianna Avgousti and Marja Matinmikko to have organized this event, which is on a topic that is very important for the. Okay, I would say not only for the 6G-MUSICAL project, but for the 6G technology as a whole. So here, in this presentation, I will make a very short presentation about the 6G-MUSICAL project, with each project that has started 1 year ago as part of the SNES, and that I am the coordinator. So for this first presentation, I will present the project data, define the goals, describe what was the motivation, mission, and vision between this project, and the project, then go to the project objective. So I had here types of sensing and synchronization, but I will skip that because I do not want to have a long presentation and not so technical. So for us to focus on the issues that are sustainability. So this project is for the call, the SNES call 2023. And okay, so it has a duration of 36 months. We have just completed 1 year. The total cost for the project is 4.9 million euros. The total effort 435 person months. We have a total of 11 partners, 7 from the EU and 4 associated partners, namely Ericsson UK, Waseda from Japan, and Menir from Switzerland. So the geographical spread of the partners is shown in this figure, and the names and acronyms are here. So the technical areas that are covered, this project is on joint communication and sensing. So the main technical areas to be covered are multi-node synchronization, ultra-accurate positioning, and of course the integrated communication and sensing. And we have some work on RF and optical subsystems. I think this is a slide about the goals of 6G. So similar figures appear in several papers, but it's just to remind and to position the project or 6G relatively to 5G. So what we have here, for example, this will be an important part of the project, is that the goals in terms of localization of accuracy. The ambition is to improve by a factor of 30, and this is really one of the key points in this project. So within the enabling technologies that are envisioned for 6G, we are in what is called integrated sensing and communications, for which multiple applications are envisioned right now. So immersive extended reality, autonomous vehicles, and so on. So what was the motivation or the vision, the motivation behind the 6G-MUSICAL? So in the past, we have you had 2 services over two different radio technologies. So localization and tracking, we use typically radar, and the user were big organizations. And the other was communications, which has led to several generations of wireless communication systems. We are currently in the 5G, and okay, this project tackles 6G. So our motivation is, of course, to have a future that will be different from the past, different in the way that it will bring something new. And okay, so what the 6G demands, so that both services will be over the same network. That means that radio sensing will be embedded in 6G. So what will it bring? So radio sensing will be globally deployed in a global network, and will provide not only to the big organizations, but to the common people sophisticated localization and tracking service. And the vision is really to have this, as shown in this figure, is to have this integrated radio and sensing system. There are several projects that focus GC, joint communications and sensing. But I would like to point some features that maybe distinguish our project from the others. So we tackle a tight integration with joint waveforms, joint resource allocations, and massive levels of cooperation between nodes. We consider both connected and non-connected objects. And one also important point is to provide an accurate synchronization among the edge nodes, which will be mandatory if you want to have high accuracy in positioning of high resolution in 3D imaging. So in this figure, basically, you have the different areas, and everything is glued by the sustainability, of which Maria will be the main contributor, not only the main contributor, but the leader of this of this emerging aspect. So in terms of objectives, basically, you can say that you have three main pillars. So one that addresses technology, the other that addresses the sustainability of that the technology has to provide for sustainability, and the other is the impact that we aim to achieve. I have here some objectives, some specific technology objectives, so that were a little bit already presented in the previous slide. So one of the things is to advance in the definition of a physical and logic network for the next 6G. The other the joint physical waveforms for communication and radio sensing, then consider algorithms and technologies for cooperative of multistatic sensing algorithms, and one also important that merges optical and REF is the development of highly stable reference sources to ensure very accurate timing synchronization. The other important objectives that includes all the technical ones deal with sustainability. So there are some several points. So the identifications of the environmental, social, and economic sustainability challenge for 6G, and what will be the role of joint communications and sensing. So and we aim, of course, to develop some guidelines for what we call system or 6G, but the presentation of Maria will go deeper and in this topic. And of course, we have also the maximization of the impact. So we have to ensure, and we expect that our results will have a broad impact and will be rapidly adopted. And we expect also to contribute to the standards. So to keep this presentation short, I go directly to these conclusions. So just to summarize that, 6G-MUSICAL is an ambitious project. We have identified several challenges that are quite ambitious and that we need to achieve. Namely, the types of sensing that we are going to adopt, the architecture that includes the communication and sensing, and also the very important aspect of synchronization, which is mandatory when you consider collaboration or cooperation between the nodes. Okay, so the types of sensing, we do not want to go for different systems. As I said in the previous slides, we aim to achieve a tight integration and to use the same bands for communication and sensing. And for the synchronizations, which I think is a key point to ensure that collaborative communication and collaborative sensing, we have you want to develop solutions that merge. I'm not going in detail here. That merge optical and radio technologies, and of course, everything will be wrapped to ensure that the 6G-MUSICAL adheres to the sustainability objectives that now every technology should be aware of. This concludes my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention. So I suppose you will get a more clear vision on the sustainability aspects on the water issues with Maria's presentation. So, but if you have any question on the specific slide here, feel free to put questions.
Thank you, Atilio, for your presentation. Let's dig in to the sustainability in 6G with Maria. But before we start, let me just say that we encourage your engagement and participation. So that's why we have scheduled a Q&A session at the end of Maria's presentation. There is a Q&A tab on Teams where you can start a discussion and we'll get along afterwards. As already mentioned at the beginning, we will share the results of the webinar in a few days via our communication channels. Let's start with Maria's presentation. And Maria, you have the floor.
Thank you. We see it in the presenter mode, not in the full screen mode currently.
Okay, sorry, is it better?
Same now. If you just
same.
Change the display settings and in the. Oops. Or I can even share.
Let me. Yeah. I can give you control if you want, but.
You can share. No problem. We have time.
Yeah. Still, okay, let me fix it, sorry.
My name is Marja Matinmikko-Blue. I come from the University of Oulu and I will be talking, now it's perfect, yes. I will talking about the sustainability part of this 6G work. So this is our first sustainability webinar, and the aims are to explore the role of 6G in driving sustainable development, and then also start to address the role of joint communication and sensing in sustainable development. And we will be scheduling these webinars as outputs of this 6G-MUSICAL, and this is the very first one. So I hope you are not disappointed at the end when we don't have the complete solution and the results ready yet, but it's more like a dialogue engaging with stakeholders on what sustainability could mean in 6G, and then the specific topics, which here is about integrated communication, sensing, and localization. My presentation is about the sustainability perspectives on 6G. Some of you might have seen some of the slides before. I'm sorry about repetition, but I think it's still worth repeating and presenting the key concepts of sustainability and sustainable development. And there are many ways to understand sustainability. There are many definitions. If you search for sustainability and sustainable development, you will find a wide range of descriptions and definitions. I used very old ones from the 80s and 90s, where the sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And this is already from the 80s. And I still think it's valid, and it nicely describes that sustainable development means that we should not limit what is open for the future generations when we are making decisions today. And then sustainability is really that principle that we don't limit the actions of the future generations, considering economic, social, and environmental options. So that those three perspectives have been identified as important sustainability perspectives in the information and communication technology, ICT development. But not just there, but they are very useful dimensions of sustainability, economic, social, and environmental. There are other perspectives as well. There are cultural perspectives, like even these sustainability perspectives, they can be seen in very, very different ways. But I like to use these three, economic, social, and environmental. And these three are also considered in the SNS joint undertaking, part of the 6G R&D in Europe. So these three sustainability perspectives are addressed. And the whole sustainability, it will change the whole it changes things in mobile communications. It changes how we speak about mobile communications. Today we still talk about total consumed mobile data, and forerunner countries consume the most mobile data. But that in itself is not a very sustainable thinking. So I believe that sustainability thinking, once it is fully incorporated into mobile communications, then we start to talk about different kinds of ways and indicators. No longer the total consumed mobile data, but other indicators will become important. And economic, social, environmental perspectives, they are very tightly related. Companies do business. It's all about the business, the economic side. But at the same time, we could solve a lot of environmental challenges if we had money to develop those solutions. So they are very much, money is the restricting factor, environment is what we should protect. But the social side at the same time is extremely important. The people and the employees of the companies, people of the societies, all human-related aspects. So this sustainability is a very broad topic, and it has many angles. And I like to use these very old ways of seeing sustainability, considering economic, social, and environmental parts. And then if we move on, the ICT sector, information and communication technologies, digitalization, digital technologies, what is their role and connection to sustainability? Even that is a very complicated topic. And we, of course, being in the ICT field, we want to see a very strong connection between ICT and sustainability. In a way that ICT, digital solutions and services, they can enable a lot of sustainability-related enhancements and advancements. The digitalization, the ICT sector helps the society towards environmentally and socially sustainable operations in an economically feasible manner. We can adjust operations to minimize the use of resources, for example, through accurate situational awareness. We can optimize operations with accurate information. But at the same time, ICT solutions and services, they consume natural resources, they consume energy, they create pollution, and so on. So the ICT solutions and services, when they're being developed and when they're used throughout the whole life cycle, they have sustainability impacts, environmental, social, economic impacts. Social impacts of digital technologies and solutions are very important. All the psychological burden of using digital tools and so on. So even there are many things. But overall, digital solutions will try to make sustainability better by consuming less, emitting less, but at the same time enabling more and absorbing more in different sectors of society. But how do then quantify this or assess this? We need some indicators, assessment methods, and also requirements for the solutions, and in terms of how they also address major sustainability challenges. And then if we move on, I've added here some terms and texts from this ITUT recommendation about sustainability, their recommendation on assessing how the use of ICTs impact greenhouse gas emissions of other sectors. I was personally not involved in preparation of this recommendation, but I like to use this because it's still very much up to date and it has very important terminology and approach about how ICTs can help other sectors in terms of the impact of greenhouse gas emissions. So the ICTs, and this is from the environmental perspective, so environmental sustainability perspective primarily. So the ICTs have environmental impacts at each stage of the life cycle, and those are often referred to as first-order effects: design phase, manufacturing phase, use phase, and disposal phase of the products. Then the use of these ICTs can enable different things, efficiencies in lifestyle in all sectors of the economy through these solutions that can improve efficiency of resource usage and different things, business efficiencies, reducing travel and transportation. And these are called positive second-order effects. So I like the terminology from these recommendations. We have the first-order effects, which are the ICT's own environmental impacts. Then there can be positive second-order effects. There can also be negative second-order effects if the use of ICTs maintains or increases fossil-based economy, resulting in higher greenhouse gas emissions. This is just the greenhouse gas part, but there are also other environmental impacts. And the increasing use of AI and those things, the direction is towards increased negative second-order effects. There can also be higher-order effects, and those higher-order effects can be positive or negative. They are effects enabled by the use of ICTs that are modified due to rebound. Like if something is some new way of operation is being introduced, that can also have more higher order effects, which can be positive or negative. And then the ICTs can have structural effects at the society, reshaping how people behave. And those are also examples of higher order effects, which can be positive or negative. So overall, this already is a complicated thing. First order, second order, higher order effects, positive and negative effects. Only for the greenhouse gas emission part, only for one environmental sustainability indicator. There are many more environmental sustainability indicators. And expanding this environmental sustainability thinking to include social and economic perspective is important. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to minimize the negative effects and maximize the positive impacts as a generic guideline. And then next, if we move on, you might have seen this. I want to emphasize this EU-US Trade and Technology Council's 6G outlook, which is from 23. We will see what happens in the future with the changes in the structures. But 1.5 years ago, EU and US together published a 6G outlook, which included sustainability as follows. So that 6G technologies must be an enabler for sustainability, considering environmental, social, and economic perspectives. So these three perspectives, aiming at reduced carbon footprint and improved energy efficiency. And 6G should allow for reduced energy consumption across all sectors. 6G will generate less pollution and reduce other environmental impacts to better contribute to long-term social sustainability while maintaining economic feasibility. So having environmental, social, and economic perspectives, then to minimize the negative impacts and maximize positive impacts. That's what we are talking about at the high level. And then the next slide. That's the global 6G framework. It's called the IMD 2030 framework, done at the ITU, the radio communication sector of the ITU. It's the United Nations Organizations for ICTs, the specialist agency for ICTs. And the radio communication sector is in charge of defining 6G, the radio aspects of that one. The previous recommendation, the ITU-T recommendation, was from the standards side, and they are doing standards for sustainability in the ICTs. But this recommendation, framework recommendation from the ITUR came out in 23, and they've done that before for 5G, 4G, and 3G. And now in 6G, there are the overarching design principles. One of them is sustainability. The other ones are security and resilience, connecting the unconnected, and ubiquitous intelligence. So sustainability is globally driving the 6G development. I was personally part of this work, contributing the sustainability there. I didn't make friends with that, with all participants, and it was very, very difficult to get sustainability there into this 6G global definition work. But it is there, and it is guiding the work, so it is finally there. And if we move on, this is an example of how the complex topic of sustainability then can be addressed in the different topics. This is just a simple example of considering, introducing this multi-perspective approach to sustainability and 6G. The three perspectives of sustainability are critical: environmental, social, and economic. Then in this one, we also consider business, regulation, and technology dimensions. And this mapping already results in 3x3 matrix, where we have the environmental sustainability that can be seen from business, regulation, and technology perspective. Social sustainability, similarly, business, regulation, and technology perspective, as well as the economic sustainability. Then there are more lenses to look into sustainability, and different side of the sustainability, and then in the context of 6G. So I think there are a lot of separate topics, and then we need to find a way to make it more structured and clear how sustainability can be considered in the 6G development and then in the specific topics of 6G. Then if we move on, the conclusion that I want to make from this sustainability introduction is that sustainability has been globally agreed to be a key driver for 6G research and development. And what it means, there are many different perceptions of what it means, but at least it has to be a visible design criteria in the development of those solutions that are part of the 6G framework, so that our actions today do not limit the range of economic, social, and environmental options open to future generations. At the same time, the sustainable, like 6G in itself, has to be developed in accordance with sustainability thinking, economic, social, and environmental part. But it can be used to address and solve many sustainability challenges, environmental, social, and economic challenges. So there are many sides of that. And then what sustainability means, because it's everybody's responsibility now to introduce the sustainability thinking into the specific topics. Then it means different things. In something, the environmental side is way more important. In other topics, the social side can be more important. But at the end, everything is still business and based on business, so we cannot ignore that. And so there are a lot of trade-offs between these different perspectives, and there's no right or wrong. It's the joint development work that we all will be doing. And ICT business, if I look at the business, what it often is selling more, buying a new phone, selling, like companies often try to sell more ICT products, gadgets, or services, streaming services, or things like that. And there's often is the encouragement to consume more, buy this, buy services, buy solutions. And how sustainable that is when we are thinking about the big picture of what sustainable life is about. So I think we are now in the stage of rethinking what the whole sustainability thinking could mean in the mobile communications. And this part now concludes the sustainability and 6G part. And if we move on to the next slides, then the topic of 6G-MUSICAL, as Atilio mentioned, there's integrated communication, sensing, and localization. So it's an open topic, what sustainability means here. And as I mentioned, this is our first webinar, so we don't have the answers yet. We don't have the solutions yet. So I would like to have with you the discussion now. What do these environmental, social, and economic sustainability perspective, what could they mean in this topic of joint communication and sensing, and then what kind of business regulation and technology related topics you see in this big topic of joint communications and sensing. And you are, of course, welcome to ask questions from the presenters. Thank you.
We do have a question, Maria, from Niraj. In the context of 6G development for sustainability, what key parameters have been defined by organizations? And additionally, where does the progress currently stand in achieving these goals and how challenging it is to meet them?
Hey, that was a very important question and had many parts. So I think the starting point for much of the sustainability discussion in 6G has been the UN SDGs. This is the first time I mentioned them in this presentation, but they are the globally agreed framework for sustainable development and the targets within there. So I think there has been work to kind of link the research and development activities to the UN SDGs at a high level, not so much in the concrete targets and indicators of the framework, but more at the high level, how the development contributes to improved health and well-being and so on. So I think that is one thing. Then the second part is the environmental sustainability of the ICT solutions themselves. And there are a couple of nice reports about the environmental sustainability indicators, what those are. For example, BEREC, the body of European regulators, has published three reports on sustainability, related to the sustainability of the ICT and their usage. And there are indicators like energy consumption, greenhouse gas emissions, then use of materials and others. So like this list of environmental sustainability indicators is there, but then the actual estimating the actual impacts is more challenging, and quantifying what those actual, for example, emissions are from the use of those solutions. And then that's about the today's solutions, but then 6G is futures oriented. So we cannot assess what is 6G's environmental sustainability impact, for example, because it's futures studies, it's futures oriented. We're still talking about what could be those 6G solutions, what kind of techniques there could be. And that's why it becomes more important to consider how to develop technology that has as low energy consumption as possible, as low greenhouse gas emissions as possible, and so on. So I think all the R&D projects somehow have to address sustainability. Many funding agencies request this, regardless of the field or regardless of the topic, national and European. You have to explain the linkage to sustainability. There is a lot to do, a lot. Okay, more questions, comments, and topics. Yeah. Kiara, please, can you, or we need to? We need to allow the mic. Oh.
Yes, I just allowed
Great.
Chiara your mic if you want to.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for opening up this opportunity, and thank you for the presentation. Very good, Maria and colleagues, to hear about sustainability becoming, overarching topic in all R&D discussions. However, I think there are 2 points which would need clarification, and I know it doesn't answer your question, but it more asks to you questions. That would be really how to consider sustainability as a business opportunity. Maria, I really like what you mentioned in the first triangle, in the triple bottom line of sustainability. So sustainability as economic impact, including profitability, of course, that's how the system works, but also sustainability as a business opportunity. How do we scale this at company level? How do we scale this at research, university, centers, to make this a priority, knowing that I think we are now all aware of planet boundaries, but how do we consider this in our daily work? And I think the second very good question that you're asking, but we should try to find answers from our R&D projects, is how to identify what sustainability means really for many topical 6G R&D areas. So it's a bit reversing the question to you. If you take JCAS, joint communication and sensing, is it more in terms of use cases that you will have to try to address sustainability, or is it more, is it of course also in the design and development phase of the technology, but how would you really link an R&D topic to a sustainable dimension? I think we have to find metrics and frameworks to explain this better so that we can provide other projects, the most advanced reflections for projects to try to have this conceptual framework. These are very, very good questions, which I don't have answers, but I'm counting on all your power brain to work on. And I do work in SNSJU as also topic expert on sustainability, and I also do lead and program officer, program manager, and I do lead also the communication of SNSJU. So sustainability is relevant in all categories of my work as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chiara, and thank you. Very, very important notions, and this is what we have to work on, not just us in the 6G-MUSICAL project, but also others. And coming back to this business opportunity, and that is even more challenging now because this mobile communications is global business, and the same solutions, they aim at the global market. Yet sustainability is seen quite differently in different regions of the world. And I was in the ITUR work about the global IMT 2030, and only Europeans and European administrations were talking about the sustainability topic. There were Asian and US participants who did not want to have anything to do with sustainability. Yet the same solutions are targeting the global markets. So it is a very, very challenging thing. When it should, like these solutions, if they cost more, then there should be some reason that they would be consumed, because price is a thing in the ICT sector, in terms of services, in terms of what we and the equipment. So I don't have the solutions for that. And considering the sustainability in our daily work, I still do get this pushback quite often that we don't really take it seriously. So when I look at the day-to-day, like researchers' work, it's not clear, even the ICT researchers' work, that sustainability should really be a key thing in the work. I still keep getting comments that it was a hot topic some time ago. Now we need to move on to other catchy topics. But I still think we're not even there yet that sustainability is a key design criteria in the research that we do. And that's why we have to, like, through examples, presenting the examples of, in my topic, this is what sustainability means. And I've done research on spectrum management. So there I made some papers about what is sustainability in spectrum management, very preliminary things. And social sustainability there can be coverage obligations in spectrum licenses, for example. And this joint communication and sensing thing, it is just like a new use case, new way of using the network, not only to communicate, but also to sense the environment. And there the sustainability comes through the use cases, like what could be useful use cases to improve the sustainability of different sectors of society. I think we could identify interesting use cases there, but then at the same time, when developing those joint communication and sensing solutions, how the environmental and social and economic sustainability is embedded in that technology development, some kind of guidelines there. But the conceptual framework is not there yet. Like, we don't have this kind of checklist. Like, when doing R&D on this, these are the things that you have to consider. Right? I think that does not exist. That doesn't exist yet.
Thank you, Maria, and good work ahead.
Thank you. Are there more questions or comments? You can have your own. You can disagree and bring up your own topics. And I'm reminding that this is the first of these webinars. We will be having more to come.
If there are no further questions for the moment, I will have a follow-up one.
Yes.
Which are, from the project perspective, the use cases that you see as I would not say money killer, but top best for joint communication and sensing? Is it related? I can think of many things, but is it related to sensing the environment, and in which way? Is it related to supply chain provision? Is it related to other global issues, or is it more localization, and for which purposes? How are you building up your also internal to the project conceptual framework on the use cases? Thank you.
Thank you. And in a way, you are now addressing the thing that where the work is starting right now. So we had some ideas in the beginning when doing the project preparation, but then going to these actual use cases, and that work is actually starting now about the use cases and their assessment of what could be the markets, what would be the use cases where these joint communication and sensing could actually be used. And that is, we are just starting that refinement work. So we don't have that yet. Using what methods to use in that one. The methods for us, they come from the business research. So that we will use the business research methods and also then describe the use cases and also look at their business implications. Who are the key stakeholders there? What kind of value could be provided through this use case, and so on. And also the value part, the key value discussion, which is ongoing in the 6G concept, is very, very important. The key value indicator framework that the SNVC group of the 6G IA has done. So we will be definitely taking the values-based topics from there, and they are like twofold. It's the value of that use case, but also the value of the technology that could be done. So that work is about to start. And There is a comment in chat that CECAS has to deal with security issues. This is very, very relevant, the security side, and that already is like we can link that to the social sustainability part. The security, privacy, and all those topics, they are very much relevant from the social sustainability perspective. So definitely there are security-related challenges in the use of JCAS solutions that need to be addressed as well. Are there further comments or questions? Atilio, please.
Okay, so there was this comment about the security issues. Okay, so it's we have, but this is not in terms so much of sustainability, but in terms of technical solutions. So we have really ongoing work on the security that is needed for communications and sensing. But what is ongoing now is really technical work that not so much with sustainability or with the overall concern of security. Is more to provide to ensure that the information is conveyed to the right place without any any issue on eavesdropping and things and things like that. So, but we have this concern, and in the next few months, this will also be surely handled by the people that will work on the sustainability issues.
Thank you.
Thank you, Atilio. Thank you, Maria, for the insightful and thought-provoking, let's say, presentation and discussions. Let me just take a couple of minutes. I can see that we have more discussion points on the Q&A slot. I would also like to express my gratitude to you and Razvan from Orange Romania for your invaluable support in organizing today's webinar. You have made this event truly successful. A special thank you goes to our attendees as well. Distinguished attendees we had today. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge Ms. Chiara Mazzone, an expert in the field of 6G and the key officer of the 6G SNS programs. We were fortunate to have you with us today. Of course, all of you to thank you who joined us for this first sustainability webinar. Your participation is what makes our discussions and our output truly meaningful. We should go back to the Q&A. We have a discussion point from Annika. Are there any sustainability certification or standards used when designing and manufacturing the infrastructure node hardware? Well, he works with the sustainability certification TCO, certified of IT projects. I assume that the different types of hardware have similar challenges. Okay. Not sure if Maria, you want to comment on this discussion point, but
I will get familiar with it. Thanks for the link. Very interesting. I'm not aware of this
certification
thing. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. We only have 4 minutes left. Perhaps if there are no more questions, Atilio or Maria, would you like to give us a few wrap-up points, or what shall we expect in the future?
Atilio, if you would like to cite some highlights to start with, and then I will continue.
Yes. So just to say that as a coordinator of the 6G-MUSICAL project, so we place a very high importance on these issues of sustainability for the technologies. And that's the reason that we rely on Maria and her group, not only her, but she is leading that, so that we expect that by the end of the project you have addressed these sustainability issues. As Maria said, it is something that is now on development. People are starting to get conscious about it, but we wanted to be in this project we wanted to be really at the forefront or aligned with the trends. So that's why we pay a high importance on these issues. So, but Maria will of course give you more details on these aspects.
Thank you, Atilio. Thank you, Gianna. This was the very first sustainability webinar of the 6G-MUSICAL project, and here the focus is on that joint communication, sensing, localization, and it is an area that is also studied in other projects. So we now invite the community to collaborate on the topic of how the sustainability should be addressed in this context. And we know that there are there's the technology development, but equally important are the business side and the regulation side of these, and then how the sustainability as the cross-cutting principle that should be embedded in all of these, how to really address that. So I'm strongly encouraging you to contact also us in terms of this topic further. We will keep you posted about the future follow-up webinars that we will be organizing. And already 2 weeks from now, there is an event in Oulu in Finland about the IEEE Joint Communication and Sensing Symposium. So that event is to come, where we also have a workshop about joint communication and sensing. And we want to have this kind of multidisciplinary approach to this 6G R&D when it comes to the technology development, but also incorporating the different perspectives. So I stop here, and I want to thank you very much for your participation and active inputs to this discussion. Don't hesitate to stay in contact with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Atilio. Thank you, everyone. Just to acknowledge a final comment on the chat from Fayad to consider integrating renewable energy sources for reducing CO2 emissions and its impact on cost sustainability. Of course, apologies. And let's just wrap up our session. As I mentioned, we will be sharing our webinar recordings and results with you in the next couple of days. And thank you for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. You will be spammed with our communication channels for more information. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.